The magic microwave, we think it does the necessary task of heating or sometimes even cooking our food. But could it also be cooking our environment? Take a look.
The beeping sound of a microwave to our ears is a mere signal that our food is hot and ready to be consumed. But this so-called harmless sound is ringing shrill alarm bells in the environment. According to a new study by the University of Manchester in England, microwaves across the European Union emit as much carbon dioxide a year as nearly 7 million cars. The findings show that microwaves across the European Union emit 7.7 million tons of carbon dioxide. The amount is the same as what 6.8 million cars emit into the environment in a year. So why the apples to oranges comparison? Dr. Alejandro Gallego-Schmidt explains.
We want to show people that sometimes it's much more easier to see in a car because you see the combustion, okay, that's producing global warming. But in the case of the microwaves, there is not so easy to see, and because it's related mainly with the indirect emissions of global warming associated to the electricity.
So how do microwaves exactly harm the environment? Well, if we were to boil it down to just one microwave, it uses 573 kilowatt-hour of electricity over its lifetime of 8 years. To give you some context, this is the same as consumed by a 7-watt LED light bulb left on continuously for almost 9 years. And this despite the fact that a microwave sits idle for 90% of its lifetime, in standby mode that is. Now let's bring the problem home to India, where the microwave problem ties to the conventional electricity sources.
Especially in India, even today, more than 60% of our electricity is produced through thermal power plants. Thermal power plants mostly use fossil fuels. They either use petroleum or petroleum products, or they use coal. Now, these are very unclean sources in comparison to some of the more renewable sources of energy, such as wind, water, or solar energy. So, as long as the source of energy continues to be dominated by your conventional sources, the more you consume electricity, the more your emissions are. However, in terms of local pollution, when we talk about consumption of electricity and localized pollution in Delhi, these are not directly correlated, because the pollution here would be more in the vicinity of the areas where the power plants are located. Which is why it's very important that the newest standards of power plants be implemented immediately.
The solution, as this one expert puts it, lies in cleaner cooking fuels.
I think it is very important that we move forward and get into cleaner cooking fuels, use induction stoves, wherever possible use LPG, but try and get away from biomass, because that is where we are. Studies have shown that induction cooking stoves are actually very efficient, even compared to microwave ovens. But at the same time, I think the focus in India should be to move to cleaner cooking fuels.
What we're trying to say is that we can improve them, and with small improvements in microwaves, considering the huge amount that there are around the world, used in Europe, we can make huge change. And it's something that the people normally is not aware of.
So while no one suggests that we throw out microwaves from our households, it is important that we try to reduce the number of beeps we hear each day. Bureau Report, WION.